How's it hanging, YouTube? This is King of Frail Imps, and today I've got an update for Ritual Beast. Now I'm updating this because a few card numbers have shifted around, and I've gotten a few more cards that I actually needed for the last one, and the last deck profile. Honestly, I was trying stuff out for how I recorded it, and it was just way too blurry, and so now we got it back in the nice HD here, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. So starting off with monsters, we've got the Tamers, 3 Elder, 3 Winda, 2 Lara, and then 2 Wen. Now, Elder and Winda I feel like are the most important ones. Winda I've upped from 2 to 3 because, oh man, it is just so good. She is beautiful, and she's got the best thighs in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Do not at me. Tamer of Elder, because he's still good because he lets you get the double summon. You normal summon him, you get to normal summon an additional spiritual beast. Winda is great because she's spiritual beast tamer, so she counts as a spiritual beast and a ritual beast. So you can go ahead and fuse her with any of the other tamers, or you can fuse her with one of the spiritual beasts, the animals, at any time. So she just counts as both. So that's great. When she's destroyed by battle, you get to special summon any one ritual beast from your deck or your extra deck, which is great. So that's crazy if you're able to pull that off. I mean, you know, in order for that to happen, it'll be at a point where, like, oh, you have to set her, and then if your opponent attacks into her, then you get it. But she still works with just getting extra monsters and counting as extra monster. 2 Lara, because Zephyr and Pilica's, you know, alright. It basically does the same thing. You would basically play it for other names, but Lara is much, much cuter, and she's got more defense if you ever have to, you know, if you have to set it. But it's, you know, it's fine. It works out that way. You could play Zephyr and Pilica if you want. 2 Wen. Wen is great because when you normal summon it, it summons something from the banished zone, and you're going to be getting stuff banished. Lara is also great, again. Normal summon it, special summon from the graveyard. So these two are like counterparts to each other. I'd say Wen kind of seems a little more useful, but Lara is also extremely useful because we have ways to get stuff banished and to the graveyard. That's it for the Tamers, and honestly, I really do like them. They're all pretty cool. Now onto the Spiritual Beast: 3 Kanahak, 3 Rampengu, 2 Apaleo, and 1 Dolphin. Things haven't changed so much. Dolphin, I've been considering almost cutting, but at the same time, she's fodder for Rampengu, because Rampengu, what he does is you go ahead and banish a fusion from your extra deck, and then you get to Foolish Burial, a ritual beast that's listed on, you know, that's the same type, and that's the same type and attribute and stuff. So what that does is you get to banish the fusions, and you know that's basically all you're gonna do. That's why Apaleo and Dolphin are here, because you know we have extra copies of them, because Kanahak's fusion is limited, so you can't necessarily send stuff with him. So you know that's unfortunate, but what's great is that you can go ahead and just ditch Apaleo and Dolphin. Apaleo is somewhat useful because you can go ahead and banish Ritual Beast monsters from your graveyard, so monsters that get in the graveyard, because Rampengu sends to the graveyard rather than banishing, and again, you do have to pay the cost of the fusion monster. Never ever do that with Kanahak, to send Kanahak to the graveyard. Kanahak's also great because he banishes stuff from the deck, and then you can add it to your hand 2 turns later, but you're not going to be using that. Mostly, you're just going to be able to summon them back, so that's the great part. 3 Rampengu, 3 Kanahak, because they're most useful in getting things going, and then Leo and Dolphin are lower numbers because you want to keep them in the deck and get them out by this. Like, drawing these isn't useful, but getting them into play by drawing these is much more useful. So anyway, that's it for the actual spiritual beasts. Now for spells, still playing 3 Gold Sarcophagus. Why? Because Gold Sarcophagus is like just so dang good, man. It basically does the same thing Kanahak does, and thankfully we have this at 3 now. So Kanahak, you know, banish stuff, and you get to add it back to you get to add it to your hand 2 turns later. And Gold Sarcophagus is great in that sense because, again, like I said, you don't want to add these to your hand. You're going to be banishing them, because then you can summon stuff that's banished, which, hey, if you didn't know, that's what spiritual beasts do. They're able to summon stuff that's banished, and, you know, you just cycle through things. So this just helps so much with thinning your deck out. And speaking of thinning your deck out, the other cards: Foolish Burial, Card Destruction, Emergency Teleport, Monster Reborn, and Dimensional Fissure. Now, these aren't all for thinning your decks out, but these are all the one-of spells. Foolish Burial, again, it's good because Rampengu sends stuff to the graveyard, and we do have cards like Lara because, like, there are several card combinations that let you get at least one fusion monster going, or whatever you want. And Foolish Burial plus Lara is one of them. So, activate Foolish Burial, send something to the grave, normal summon Lara, Lara special summons it, and then you can fuse from there. And I didn't mention it, but that's kind of the reason why Gold Sarcophagus works. Gold Sarcophagus, banish something, normal summon Wen will summon that thing from banished, and you've got your play there. Card Destruction, because it's recently off the ban list. I'm trying this out. It's some good acceleration, and in all honesty, like, for the most part, with Ritual Beast, if you don't have, say, like, that Gold Sarcophagus Wen or that Foolish Burial Lara, you really do need, like, or Elder plus some other Spiritual Beast. If you don't draw those first turn, then you really kind of don't have a play, and that's, like, what I said when it comes to, like, if worst comes to worst, and you have to set Winda. Yeah, this just helps with some of the acceleration, and again, having stuff in the grave isn't too bad because, hey, if it turns out that you discard your Kanahawk and then you end up drawing into your Lara, and that's why Lara is a little more important nowadays. I'm not going to up it to 3, I think it's fine at 2, but again, if, say, you just get Kanahawk and a bunch of other stuff you can't necessarily use, maybe it's worth the gamble to go ahead and discard it, but then again, I wouldn't blame you if that's not what you want to do. If you can, go ahead and get some other play going, say, maybe it's Dolphin, which you draw into Dolphin, which that's not the best. So go ahead and discard away. Maybe you can draw into Lara, which is much better, or, maybe you can draw into Kanahawk and actually get your plays going with that, and then at least Dolphin's in the graveyard for you to use it later. And, that's just why Lara is a little, is pretty important. I'm trying it out. Emergency Teleport, all these things are psychic, so you can go ahead and summon everything. You cannot summon Winda because she's level 4, and I have a feeling that's why they made her level 4, and, maybe it's because of those thick thighs and everything that they made her a big level 4, but point is, everything is level 3 or lower with, and you can summon it with Emergency Teleport. Sadly, it's at 1, it used to be at 3, so that's cool. Monster Reborn, just useful stuff gets in the graveyard. Dimensional Fissure, they feel like they can flick, but hey, Monster Reborn, you can take your opponent's stuff too. Dimensional Fissure is one of those things that if you can get it going, that's great, because all of your stuff, even though it does kind of hit the graveyard at some point, it's better, oftentimes it's better if it's banished, because you can, the fusion monsters summon from Banished Zone. And again, you got cards like Rampengu that send to grave, you got cards like Foolish Burial that send to grave, heck, Card Destruction, just banish your cards. If they're banished, they're more useful to you. And again, this helps with disrupting your opponent as well. But anyway, that's it for all the spells. Now on to traps, and traps are crazy, my dude. 3 Ritual Beast Steeds, 3 Ritual Beast Ambush, 3 Heckin' Torrential Tribute, 3 Heckin' Gozen Match. Now, obviously, you can mix this up. Oh, and I forgot the one Macrocosmos. Now you can mix all these up. 3 of all of these probably feels a little like overkill, but traps are pretty useful in this deck because, yeah, you have some power from the fusion monsters, but traps are pretty important as well. You could lower all of this if you want, play some hand traps instead, down to like 2-to-1 ambush, 2 Gozen Match even. Steeds probably should be kept at 3 because it's so good, because it's a really good card, and without the targeting and everything, that's great. Torrential Tribute, again, is great. And Macrocosmos basically just does the same thing Dimensional Fissure does, but if you have either of these, that's so good with Torrential Tribute or Steeds. Now, Steeds, what it does is you're able to destroy, if you have to control a Ritual Beast monster, and then you destroy monsters on the field up to the number of Ritual Beast monsters you control, so relatively often you're going to be able to have at least 2 Ritual Beast monsters, so hey, you get to destroy 2 monsters. Now again, it does only destroy monsters and not cards, but what's even better is if you have Macrocosmos or that Dimensional Fissure, you control these 2, you get to banish 2 of your opponent's cards. That's the same logic with Torrential Tribute. Say, you got things going on, and even if you have, like, even if you have a monster, then you can, it's fine if it gets banished because you can typically bring it back. You can also quick tag with your fusion, so that's pretty useful. Ritual Beast Ambush, it summons stuff from the graveyard or the Banished Zone, so that's great. Again, you don't care if your stuff gets banished or sent to the graveyard because you can just bring it back with Ambush. Now, Ambush, it is limited and everything in terms of how often you can use it. Not limited in, like, the actual card, because, we're playing 3. but it is useful. Again, Steeds and Ambush are searchable through your best card that actually is limited, but it's fine. And then Goes in Match, everything is Wind, and I'm not messing around too much with the extra deck to make it, incorporate other stuff that's not Wind. So hey, Goes in Match is great because, that's a good card right now because you can go ahead and just restrict your opponent's stuff. And that's honestly why I love the Ritual Beast stuff, because they're all Wind. So you can really just hurt your opponent. You're gonna basically onslaught them with stuff like Goes in Match. You're gonna restrict their attributes, and like I said, hey, all your stuff is Wind. So even your extra deck stuff, your main deck monsters, your extra deck stuff. So you're just gonna be totally fine with Goes in Match. You're like, hey, it doesn't even affect me. That's gonna hurt your opponent so much more. There are other things in the extra deck that I'm playing that aren't Wind, but I mean, hey, that's fine for now. So all these traps, it does seem like overkill. It does feel like overkill sometimes, but hey, that's the point. Anyway, that's it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck, we got the only link monster, Ritual Beast Ulti-Kimunfalcos. This is one of the cool ones, and it's so good. I love the artwork because look, it's got Elder, and there's Gusto Falcos back. I honestly hope that we get him as like we get him remade as a Ritual Beast. That'd be pretty cool. But anyway, yeah. What it is, it requires 2 Ritual Beast monsters. So, I mean, on the upside, it's 2 Ritual Beasts. So it doesn't require a Tamer and a Beast. So you can make it with 2 Beasts. You can make it with 2 Tamers if you need to. Just 2 Ritual Beasts. And what that does, it's got your basic arrows pointing left down and right down. Doesn't have a whole lot of attack. But what it does is Ritual Beast monsters that this card points to gain 600 attack and defense. So even though it is a little kind of a wimpy guy, it does help beef up your other fusion monsters, and that's especially useful with some of the others because they're not huge. Leo is fine, but it doesn't get amazingly huge. You can also banish 1 Ritual Beast card from your graveyard, and immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Ritual Beast monster from your hand. So this one's also great because, like Elder, it does get you some additional normal summons. And what's even better is if you have an Elder in your hand and you use this, then you can go ahead and Elder to normal summon again. And I feel like that's why Elder is on the artwork. It kind of relates to the additional normal summons. And that's one reason why Rampengu is pretty important to get stuff in the graveyard. Again, like Hard Destruction works because then you get stuff in the graveyard to use because you do have to banish a Ritual Beast card. Thankfully, it is a card, so you can go ahead and banish your Ambush or your Steeds if you've used them already. Or again, if you have to discard them with Card Destruction, or if you end up wanting to discard them with Card Destruction. It's just really useful. And I feel like that's the best part. It's only a Ritual Beast card. Now, I'm talking a lot about this card, but this is pretty important because it's one of the new ones. So you can only use the effect of Ritual Beast Ulti-Kimunfalcos once per turn. And that one's a quick effect. You can only use this quick effect once per turn. You can return this card you control to the extra deck, target 2 of your banished monsters, 1 Tamer, and 1 Spiritual Beast, and special summon them in defense position. So, Kimunfalcos is another one that can tag out, which also makes it pretty good. So you can go ahead and, activate this. You can activate it, get your additional normal summons, and what's great is you can go ahead and summon something else. The most important thing is that it opens up your additional monster zones. So if you need to do something, you can do that. Get your additional normal summon something here. You can tag it back out, and then with your Ritual Beast monsters that you summon from your bandage zone, you can make something else, and you still have your extra deck monster zone up here to use. So it's just really useful in that sense. And again, if you can keep it on the field, then it will boost up all the stuff that it points to, and just each turn can net you additional normal summons. This is just such a beautiful card, and thankfully I've got 2, the 2 now that I need. So that's the only link monster we're playing. After that, 1 Kanahawk, 2 Petalfin, 3 Ultia Paleo, 2 Gaia Paleo. Same lineup as usual. So real briefly, I'll talk about them. Now, Kanahawk is the most important one because you can go ahead and target 2 of your banished Ritual Beast monsters and put them back, and then put them back, and then you can search out a Ritual Beast card. You can put them from the banished zone into the graveyard, and then search out a Ritual Beast card from your deck. Normally, what you're going to be doing with that. You're going to be getting your Ambush and your Steeds. Now, the best part about Kanahawk is, I think I've explained this before, but what you can do with it is that you can, if you have like 3 cards, then you can target 2 to return, but then you can target 2 more to special summon, And as long as one of the ones that you originally targeted goes back, then you can still special summon these two and tag him out. Because all of the Ritual Beast monsters, their tag out effects are quick effects. So you're able to activate them like that. So Kanahawk, that's why Kanahawk's limited. But I mean, as you saw in my mail day video, I picked up extra Kanahawks in case it ever comes back. Petalfin's mostly defensive. It's not affected by card effects and whatnot, and can't be destroyed. So that's really useful. Let me read what it was exactly. Yeah, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's what it is. So it's mostly a defensive one. But again, I think, the big reason, the big reason you're going to be playing 2 at all is because you can ditch 1 to ditch your Petalfin with Rampengu's effect. Got the same reason with 3 Ulti-Paleo, but at the same time, Paleo is pretty good to summon. Ulti-Paleo in case you can ever make it, but you can also summon it off of the effect off of Winda's effect. So it's pretty useful. This is the basic lineup. You can adjust it if you want. You can go down to 2 Paleo, 2 Petalfin if you don't want to. And if you want to ditch the Petalfin and the Leo from the deck and not rely so much on Rampengu, if you want to try that out, you could. But I feel like, standard lineup, it works pretty well. That's it for the Ritual Beasts. And then after that, just play whatever rank 4s you have. Specifically, hey, Exciton. Exciton is back. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love this guy. In this deck, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference because, the main thing you want to do is you want to go for your Ritual Beast. But hey, you play level 4s, a decent amount of level 4s, and you can summon them. So worst comes to worst, if you ever absolutely have to, Exciton. Actually, I realize, yeah, he's not so useful in this deck. He's useful in other decks where you could easily summon level 4s because then he makes going second not as bad. But I'm so glad to have Exciton back. Aside from that, just play whatever rank 4s you have. 101, I don't know. Hey, Cowboy, because Cowboy's kind of good now, because he can burn. Chidori's a wind, and yeah. It doesn't matter what you play. You could easily replace these with more links if that's what you want to do. And again, with all their different attributes, it's with the Gozen match. I mean, these two are wins, so you could do that. Whatever. Who cares about rank 4s anymore nowadays? But anyway, that is all for the Ritual Beast deck profile. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now that things have been updated, and now that, hey, actually some guy topped an event with it. Of course, he was playing a different build, arguably better for the meta, but this is the basic rundown for Ritual Beast. They're still not bad, despite every card in the deck being banned a little week after they came out. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below if you have any suggestions. And again, this is a relatively standard build I've been playing. There are different things you could do. Again, like I said, you could rely more on the Link monsters. I feel like this one is a little more focused on doing what Ritual Beast want to do for the most part, is going for their fusion monsters, utilizing their really powerful exclusive traps, or utilizing whatever other traps you have, which goes in match. Hey, that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions, alternate builds, ideas. Maybe I could try some of them out. I don't have a whole lot of Link monsters. I only got the Link monsters that matter. But hey, maybe I could pick up some more and we could rework and try and think about a version that's good for the meta. You could probably play this in the meta. Again, just make some adjustments to the side deck, maybe a few in the main deck, and this is your basic starting point. But again, I just love this deck so much. This is probably my favorite deck, and I love it for the lore, for the artwork, and how it plays. And again, Winda, my card waifu that has been around for so long. She's so beautiful with them thighs. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support, enable notifications, all of that cool stuff. Check out my gameplay channel if, by the way, you've made it to this point and I haven't mentioned it, which I really should have. I do reviews on Nintendo-based stuff. It's really cool. It's called GatorX Plays, linked in the description, the end card. It would mean so much if you could support me that way as well, because supporting me elsewhere will also contribute to the content here, continuing to improve, get better, stay going. Anyway, this has been King of Feral Imps. Have a nice day.